They want everyone to be taxed into poverty.
We must deport from our country any temporary resident.
I wish he had more of a backbone in saying, I don't know, just a speculation right here. Using my brain, thinking, be like, they did this to one person who had skin color. What happens if they do it to another person who has skin color, but from a different background?
That immigrants have helped build our great country.
If she's gonna be the leader of the Liberal Party, then I'm acting. Hail and welcome to today, where I'm making this video actually yesterday. When you guys are seeing this, I made the video yesterday. It is currently the 31st when I'm making this video. However, it is pertinent what I'm talking about today because I'm assuming that tomorrow tariffs will be happening in Canada. That is unfortunate. That is an unfortunate future to think of right now, or present for you guys to think of right then. This is great word vomit. I hope you're feeling full of it, cause I'm done with that. We're gonna go into today's topic, which is talking specifically about the tariffs, and once again, the only demand with the tariffs, the only demand. There was not two demands, it was one. And here's the really big catch of the entire stipulation, is that it's not a bad stipulation. But for some reason, the Canadian government is just like, oh, we don't want to do it because, and then they fart in their diapers because they're literal babies. We just need to secure the border. That is all we need to do. That's all we need to do. It's not a two-step problem, it is a one-step problem. Just secure the border. That is all we need to do. That's all we need to do. And yet for some reason, it just so happens to be that certain governments in Canada just for some reason have such a problem with doing that. I don't get it. Oh wait, sorry, I do get it. They want everyone to be taxed into poverty so that they have to rely on the government. I know exactly why they want it. But there is some good news. There's some good news. And what is that news? Well, Alberta's doing good news. Alberta has added more security measures to their border. Yay! Apparently 51 sheriffs, 4 patrol dogs, 10 cold weather drones for 24/7 surveillance, 4 narcotic analyzers to detect and stop deadly drugs. If the Liberals did this too, there would be no tariffs. No tariffs. No tariffs. Gotta do the echo effect, cause I ain't got fancy money to spend on an XLR or whatever the doohickeys need for that. I ain't got money for that, cause I'm in Canada. I got no money to prepare for that. However, I'm saying however a lot because I'm trying to think of what I'm gonna say next, but I really don't know. That's right. I remember exactly what I was gonna talk about. I definitely did not just check my notes and go, oh, that's what I was doing. Definitely did not do that. I knew exactly what I was gonna talk about, which is Pierre Poilievre talking about deportation. What a wild concept for Canada. Deportation. Huh. What an interestingly wild concept for Canada. I like it. However, I do have a little bit of a problem, just a little bit of a problem with what Pierre says in this video. We're gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna comment on it. And then we have another video that is strangely similar but different, and I'm gonna talk about it because it brings up problems in my brain about the future of Canada. Potentially. Let's dive into it.
We see on our own streets anti-Semitism, guided by obscene, woke ideologies that have led to an explosion in hate crimes. Hate crimes were up over 100% in Canada before October 7th. Now they're up 251%, with Jews being the principal victims of those crimes. We must not just condemn these things, we must take action against them. We must deport from our country any temporary resident that is here on a permit or a visa that is carrying out violence or hate crimes on our soil.
And so why do I bring up that I have a problem with the words that he uses here? Well, the problem I have is, rather than just putting a blanket statement on a word that goes beep, rather than just putting a blanket statement on beep immigration, he goes on to point to very specific groups, which is okay if you're trying to make a point. I get that. But I don't necessarily care about the group that is doing it, more so just the beep immigration type people. I don't necessarily care about the specific groups. Now, you can say, oh well, the specific groups are doing bad and they should get out of Canada even if they have a temporary visa. I agree with that. People who are against Canada and living in Canada, get the heck out. Okay? Just get out. And that also goes for me. I should get out of Canada because, man, these tariffs are burning my loins right now. But what I mean by don't like Canada is I mean you're actively violent against Canadians for being in Canada because Canada did Canada in Canada type things. That is just not liking Canadians and Canada, just point blank period. Get out of Canada. Why are you here? Deport them. Get out. We don't want you. But my main problem is how he is talking about the very specific groups rather than just saying, this group of people who are here, who shouldn't be here, are getting deported. That is a message that is a complete blanket statement that I agree with. I agree with getting rid of people out of this country who shouldn't be here in the first place, because they are not supposed to be here. For example, the group that Pierre talks about, they shouldn't be here in the first place, because they hate this country. Get out. Sorry, they hate this country and its people. Get out. But people who are also here who don't necessarily hate people or the country, but yet are still also not supposed to be here, the answer for them should just as well be, get out. I wish he had more of a backbone in saying that, but I mean, at least he covered the basis of getting people who are not good for the country out. At least he got that point in. Now, the problem that I have in connection with this video is with a supposed runner-up for the leader of the Liberal Party, which is Ruby Dhalla. I think that is how that is pronounced. Which, oddly enough, a lot of these clips I'm taking come from the Pleb Reporter. YouTube video will be down in the description. His YouTube channel will be in the description because all of these are from him. He was like, I don't know, when was it? Like a week ago? He was not even a week ago. It was like literally 5 days ago, where he was posting constantly about Chandra, or Chandra, and they were doing numbers. They were doing numbers on the trending list. People were talking about him. People were being like, oh yeah, I like this dude. Even if Liberals win, I'm okay with this dude being in because he's gonna change things. And then for some reason, gone. Just gone. They took him out. They didn't want him. And now we have Ruby Dhalla here being kind of very having a lot of agreement with what she is saying, and the pleb is saying they won't let this slide, cause how much do you want to bet she's gonna get pulled from the race as well? But hey, I don't know. Just a speculation right here. Using my brain, thinking, be like, they did this to one person who had skin color. What happens if they do it to another person who has skin color, but from a different background? What happens if they do that? Don't know. Anywho, let us check out this video and then I'm gonna talk about it.
There are over 500,000 illegal immigrants in Canada. This is unacceptable. As the daughter of immigrant parents, I know firsthand that immigrants have helped build our great country. But we must clamp down on human trafficking and those that are here illegally. As your Prime Minister, I promise you, I will deport every illegal immigrant in Canada. Canada's comeback starts now.
I don't like it, guys. I don't like it. Sorry. Let me rephrase. It's not necessarily that I dislike the messaging or necessarily dislike who it's coming from. Let's say that it is a liberal who decides to come out and say they're gonna deport all the, I'm just gonna say illegal immigrants. I was saying beep immigrants before, but now I'm just gonna say illegal immigrants because she said it so many times, I'm not gonna try and censor it because, man, that's gonna be a pain in my tush. So I'm just gonna say it. I don't necessarily have a problem with her as a liberal person saying that. I agree with it either way. Get them out of here. They're not meant to be here. They're bad for the economy, bad for the people, bad for everything. Get out. Get out. They're not good for the economy, point blank period, and they're adding to our tariffs now because they're partially the reason as to why the tariffs are happening now, because they are not meant to be here. If the border was actually secure, then they wouldn't be here in the first place, but oh boy, Quebec would never do such a thing because... Anywho, not gonna go into that any further. The point I actually have a problem with is, what happens if she is meant to be a divider? More than a accompanier per se. A divider of sorts. Because... What an emergency election gets called. You have Pierre over here, which has a lot of people backing him. And then you've got potentially Ruby Dhalla representing the Liberals. And I'm going to say it, she has my vote in terms of being a Liberal leader. Now, I'm not going to vote for her, obviously. I'm going to vote for Pierre because it'd be kind of foolish to change votes at this rate. But if we are to have a Liberal leader... She is sounding quite great at it already, and I agree with what she just said. And to even tie this in with Pierre's video, I agree with more what she said than I agree with what Pierre said, because Pierre, once again, was going for the minute groups and being like, we're gonna deport them. But she's outright just saying, illegal people, get out. That's a messaging that is much more to the point, and I agree with, and I am here for every day till Sunday. But what happens if she's being used as a divider more so than a position of accompaniment? That's not the right word. But let's say we got Pierre here, Ruby Dhalla here, and then we have an NDP person here. What happens if NDP just does what NDP did last time and join forces with a particular Liberal, Mark Carney, but they don't say it outright. They'll just say, oh, we're the Liberal Party, or we're the NDP Party if you vote for us, and then we'll be like, oh, you know what, we're just gonna give power to Mark Carney. I suspect, I capitulate in my brain that could very well happen, because it already did. What happens if she's just here to divide the votes? Because there's a lot of Liberals who have moved from being Liberal to being conservative in the fact that they're speaking actual rationale. Now, Ruby Dhalla is speaking rationale. Would those liberals then move back over to being her? I wouldn't totally fault them because, once again, she is speaking common sense with what she is saying here. I agree with it. But if we have a divide between conservative people and liberal people, last I remember, we had a divide like this happen before. And you know who won? NDP. And you know what happened after NDP won? They gave power to Trudeau. How much do I want to bet that Ruby Dhalla is, although I think she sounds like a fantastic leader for the Liberal Party, what happens if it is just completely and utterly debased by NDP winning because there's too many split hairs happening? I think that's a problem I foresee happening. Hope it doesn't happen. But just to end this off on a good note, once again, I like everything she said in that video. I have no issues with what she said. If she is the upcoming leader of the Liberal Party, I see good things happening. I don't see negativity because she is straight to the point, getting at the problem, and talking about the solution for that problem. Get out of the country. And, moreover, if you go onto her page, she is actually talking about making a deal with Trump. Something that now neither Trudeau or Pierre have done. Because last video, Pierre went on the bandwagon of Trudeau saying we're gonna dollar for dollar tariff. Here we have Ruby Dhalla saying let's make a deal. If she's gonna be the leader of the Liberal Party, then I'm actually for it. I don't want liberals to win, because liberals got us to this point. But if she's gonna be the leader, if what she says is actually what she means, and she's gonna actually go through with it, and actually do change, then based upon the very recent rhetoric, I'm actually on her side. Because I have a problem with Pierre being way too much on the edge of things. I do have a problem with that. He is speaking common sense a lot of the times, but he's also just edging it every time. I don't have a necessary problem with it. However, when push comes to shove, I would rather explicit get out of this country than we want this very, very specific set of people who shouldn't be here to get out of this country. Like, no, they illegal people get out of the country. That is much more to the point, and I like that kind of leadership where they tell it like it is, they plan for it, and they say this is what is gonna happen. Rather than edging it and saying, oh, this specific sort of people need to get out of the country. Like, why not just say illegal people? That term works just as well for me. But based on the very recent rhetoric, I would have to say Ruby Dhalla actually has me on this. She actually has me on this. I don't like to say that because, I mean, once again, it is the liberal power, it is the liberal leadership that got us to this point. I don't know what to think. Part of me still believes that this could just be a separation that is happening for NDP to once again come in for this deal and then give power to someone who shouldn't have the power, like they did last time. It wouldn't be in Jagmeet Singh's notebook to not do that, because he did it last time, and if he's here just wanting his pension, then it is very possible. I don't like that. But I think the point is, the good note that we're ending off with is, if she is the leader of the Liberal Party, then I actually foresee good happening. I want to be cautious with what I say, because here I am, a conservative pundit, being like, you know what? I don't have a problem with this Liberal leader. I don't. Because, and once again, this is very recent rhetoric. I haven't done a deep dive on her or anything like that. This is very recent rhetoric, but with the recent rhetoric, I'm more on her side than I am Pierre. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I wish Pierre was much more to the point with what he said and wasn't edging it all the time. Edging it has its purposes. Once again, in that video where we went over how Trump is now doing executive orders saying there's only 2 genders, edging it and being like, I had no idea there was more than 2. That kind of edging works perfectly because it gets straight to the point. But edging in this case of being like, oh, we're gonna go after this certain sect of people and get them out of the country because they're doing bad for Canadians. It's like, there's a lot more people than just that sect of people. I would rather the terminology of illegal immigrants, because that is a much greater blanket statement, and it actually talks about the actual problem, rather than talking about this certain sect of people. It's like, I don't care about these people, I care about these people. If these people are causing a problem, and these people are causing a problem, I want this group of people dealt with first, before this group of people. Does that make sense? Anywho, before I continue talking, I'm actually gonna do a bit of a deep dive on her, because I want to learn, I want to have an idea as to what I'm talking about here. Based off the recent rhetoric, I actually agree with her more than I do Pierre. Is that bad of me to say? I don't think so, because I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm the problem here, with me stating how she's just here to split the vote so that NDP can take the vote. Maybe here I am being the problem. But at the same time, I don't know. That's the main point. I don't know. But, anywho, that is just about all I have to say for this today, which is technically the 31st, but for you guys it's the 1st. So technically, I have no idea what is happening on the 1st. Maybe we're not getting tariffed. I don't think that'll happen on the 1st, but I don't think that'll happen when you guys are watching this, but I mean, hey, maybe it's a possibility, but I don't know. Alright, I will see you tomorrow, but until then, I hope that you have a good one.